Alright, I'm working on this transmission cross member here, and several people had suggested that I take the center bearing cross member and flip it over and bolt it to the bottom of the frame. So I flipped it over and set it up under the frame, centered it side to side. I used a mark on the frame to measure, and I used this part right here, so I measured from the front of the cross member to back here on both sides to get it straight. I've punched the holes to drill, and so that's how I got my placement on it. And you can see where I've grinded metal off. I'll show you. So once I figured out my side to side, I marked where the frame hit on both sides of it and found my center line. And this point on the cross member is not tall enough to get the height on my transmission to set my pinion angle correctly. So what I did is I took this two pieces of metal scrap to bridge the gap in this, and then I took the mount I cut off of a S10 cross member, and so pretty much this will get us to the right height to get our pinion angle set right. So what I'll do is I'll weld all this to this cross member, drill the holes in the frame rail, and then set it in, and that'll be that. And we'll drill a hole through the middle of the cross member so we can stick a socket through there and get to the nut on the transmission mount without too much difficulty. So that's what I came up with. It might not be the prettiest thing in the world, but it's really simple, and I think it'll work out just fine. It'll get our pinion angle right and get our transmission bolted in solid. So that's what we're after, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to weld this all up, and then we'll go from there. Here's the finished cross member, all bolted in, bolted up and everything. So the motor and tranny's in the frame, bolted in solid, centered up and everything. And I'll set the floor pan down now, since we finally got it in, and see how everything looks. But I'm real happy with the way it turned out. Not perfect, but hey, it's a rat rod, right? So here it is with the floor in it, or the back part of the floor with a seat in it. Shifter has perfect placement. I like that. There's plenty of clearance for the drive shaft. This is how I got it right now. It's a couple inches in the back. It probably could come up another inch or so in the back. And yeah, it come up another inch or so in the back, and I think that's going to be really nice placement there on everything. Gives us plenty of room for engine to firewall clearance, and I like that. I really like the way that's turning out. yeah, that's going to be nice. So we just work on it a little bit at a time until we get it like we want it. Alright, so I rearranged the jack, and I think that's going to be about where I build the cab mounts at right there. Really like the way that looks. I think it's pretty level. Tire's pretty close to being centered now. It might have slid around a little bit since I've been messing with it, but I think that's pretty straight. So yeah, I believe that's going to be the way it's going to sit right there. Which it's, I think it's going to sit pretty low. Like I said, if it's not low enough, got some drop spindles and drop it a little bit in the back and get it where we want it. But I like the way it's sitting, and actually that's going to give me some room to mount the master cylinder and the clutch master cylinder, and still have some exhaust clearance. So I mean, all those are things that you got to think about when you're working on this. Because I'm mounting my stuff under the floor because I want to keep the firewall clean. Yeah, this cab slid forward just a touch when I was jacking it up, so we'll have to slide it back just a little bit, but that's no big deal. We'll get it mocked up where we want it. I mean, exactly where we want it, and square it up, and then we'll start building the cab mount. So right now it is looking really good. All the drive line is in and tight, and it's sitting like it needs to be sitting. So get these cab mounts made up, and we can start mocking up the pedals and the steering column. So yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I like the way it's turning out. Yeah, it's shifted over to one side too. You can tell. Which it's hard to pick one up straight with the floor jack, because the floor jack is picking up towards you as you're jacking up. So, but I mean, it's nothing we can't get straightened out. But we'll get it all blocked up exactly where we want it at, and then we'll start making these cab mounts. So it's not going to be an issue at all. It's going to really look good. It's going to have a good stance. It'll still have plenty of ground clearance, so we won't have any issues on that end of it. And this is going to be a fun truck. So you'll stand by and I'll show you more as we go.